everybody, and happy Monday. Today we are continuing with lesson 16. I know we started it on last week. I was supposed to do session 2 on Friday, but unfortunately I was under the weather and did not come on Friday, and I'm still feeling a little bad today. So today's video might not be too long. I'm gonna try to be very brief so I can go home and get some rest because I'm still not feeling too well. But we're gonna go ahead and jump right on in. So we are still looking at area, and we're looking at how to take two smaller rectangles and find the area of both of them, and then add those two areas together to get a total area for our larger rectangle. And this is an example of basically what I'm talking about. So inside of this larger rectangle, you have two rectangles, two smaller rectangles. The red one is one, and the blue one is one. So that's basically what the lesson was for today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So number 1 says, use the bulletin board from the example to answer problems 1 and 2. So this is what they want us to use this drawing to help us answer numbers 1 and 2. So number 1 says, write an equation for the area of each colored section of the bulletin board. So let's look at that. So this is, I'm just gonna outline each of those. Let's see if I can get a color that stands out. Let's do the red. So this is the red rectangle right here. And if you look at that, I know it might be a little hard because I couldn't zoom it in like really wide because I needed to be able to see the example with the problem. So I had to kind of make it a little small. So I apologize if it's hard for you to see. You can always like zoom it in on your phone if you need to see it. But we're gonna keep going. So the length is 2 feet. They have it right here, 2 feet. And the width, they don't have the width, but remember, if this side has the width and it's the same as this side, then whatever this side is, the other side is the same thing. So if this side is 4 feet, that means this side here is 4 feet. So now I know the area or the length and the width for the red rectangle because they want me to do the red section. In the red section, I will write a multiplication equation because it says write an equation, and that equation would be 2 feet times 4 feet, and then this would give me an area of 8 square feet. All right, now let's go to the blue section. So I'm gonna outline the blue section right here. So this here is the blue rectangle. Now, and just to double check, you can always go in and count all the squares. If I count all my red squares, you would see that I would have 8 squares. So you can always count your squares just to check your work. So let's go with the length for the blue. Right here, they have me at 6 feet. I'm gonna put it at the top as well. And my width is 4 feet. So I'm gonna write the equation for the length times the width for that. So my length is 6 feet, so I'm gonna do 6 feet times my width, which is 4 feet, okay? And then 6 times 4 is gonna give me an area of 24 square feet, okay? So we've done the red and the blue section. So number 2 says to add the areas of the 2 sections. So they want us to add these 2 areas. I'm gonna add the blue one, which is 24, and I'm gonna add the red one, which is 8. So how does this area compare to the answer in the example? So let's add them first before we go ahead and start comparing them. So I have 24 square feet plus 8 square feet. And then this is gonna give me an answer of 32 square feet. Okay, so then they ask, how does this area compare to the answer in the example? Well, if we look at the answer in the example, they got 32 as well. So that means that our answer was 32 as well. So how do they compare? They are both the same answer. Okay, and that is number 2. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to number 3. That means I'm gonna have to clear off my board so that I can move my screen up. So I'm gonna do that now. So number 3 says, now I can zoom in number 3 a little bigger because all I need is just that one. So it says, Baxter's Dog Run has a small covered section and a large open section. What is the total area of the dog run? So they want to know what's the total area of this entire dog run. But they're telling us that he has 2 sections. He has a small section here and a large section here. So what I like to do is to go in and finish putting my numbers. For my smaller rectangle, I know my length is 3 meters, the width is 4 meters. But when I get to the larger rectangle, they only give me the length of 6 meters. But remember, whatever the width is on this side, the width is going to be the same thing over here. So I just go in and write that number. So my kids already have the numbers that they need. And now we can go ahead and figure out the total. But before we do that, we have to figure out the area of the 2 smaller rectangles. Once we figure out those 2 areas, then we can add them together to get the larger one. So let's do that. So I'm going to start with the small one. I'm going to label it as small so you know which one I'm doing. So the small one has a length of 3 meters times a width of 4 meters. And when I multiply that, that is going to give me an area of 12 square meters. Okay. Now let's go to the large one. So the large one has a length of 6 meters and a width of 4 meters. So when I multiply that one, 6 times 4 is going to give me 24. So I'm going to go ahead and put 24, and then my unit is square meters. So now that I know the area of both of these, if you like, you can put the answers on the inside so that you know what they are. Because remember, area is looking at how many squares you can fit inside the shape. So normally when we do write the area, we typically write it on the inside of the shape. Okay, so now all I have to do is add those 2 and put them together for my larger one. So let's go ahead and add for the total. So I'm going to write total on top because Ms. Newman likes to label and keep everything nice and neatly together so I know where it goes where. So my total is going to go here. So I'm going to do my area of 12 square meters plus my area of 24 square meters. Okay, so once I add that together, 12 plus 24 is going to give me an answer of 36 square meters. So the question says, what is the total of the dog run? The total is 36 square meters. And that would be it. That is number 3. All right, we're going to go ahead and move to number 4. So I'm going to clear off this board and move my board up. Okay, so this is number 4. So number 4 says, Jacqueline makes 2 paintings on a small card. Okay, so this is his paintings right here. The diagram shows how he hangs them together on the wall. Fill in the blanks. Okay, let's do that. So before I do that, I'm noticing that this one on top, the blue one, has a length and it has a width, but when I get to the red one, it only has the width. So what I like to go in and put my length, so if I know the top is 6 inches and I know the bottom is 6 inches, now the red one has the length and the width just like the blue one. So, or what they call it, gray, I'm sorry. So it says for A, the gray area is blank square inches. So we need to figure out what is the area of the gray area. So we can go ahead and multiply that. We can do 6 inches times 5 inches. And then this will give us an answer of 30 square inches. Oh, they already have our square inches. So let Ms. Newman get that off the there and just put 30 square inches. Okay, so let's do the red area. So I know that the length is 6 inches times the width, which is 4 inches. And if I multiply 6 times 4, that will give me an area of 24 square inches. So now all I have to do is add them together to figure out how much of the total wall, the whole thing, covered up. So we're gonna add up that 30 plus 24. Well, 30 plus 24 will give me the total area is 54 square inches. Okay, that is number 4. Let's go to number 5. So number 5 says, show how to find the area of figure A. So this is figure A, but figure A has been broken up into 2 smaller rectangles. So we're gonna figure out the area of the 2 smaller ones, and then we're gonna add them back together to get the total area. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I'm looking over here, my smaller rectangle has a length of 3 and a width of 7. But when I get here, I have a length of 5 for this larger rectangle, but no width. Now remember, if this side is 7, then that means this side is 7. So this is 7 feet. So now both of my rectangles have length and width. All we have to do is go ahead and solve the problem. So I'm going to start with since the larger one is first, I'm going to write large. Okay. And then I'm going to multiply the length times the width. So the length is 5 feet times the width, which is 7 feet. And when I multiply that, 5 feet times 7 feet, this will give me an answer of 35 square feet. All right, now let's go to the smaller one. So I'm going to write small for that one. And I have a length of 3 feet times a width of 7 feet. And when I multiply 3 times 7, this is going to give me an area of 21 square feet. So now I know the area of the larger one and the area of the smaller one. So now I want to know what's the area of all of figure A. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to add them all together. So let's do that right here. So I'm going to write total. I'm going to do it in a different color as well. So total is going to be my 35 square feet plus my 21 square feet. And like I said, you can go in and write that in the boxes if you like. This one was 35 square feet. And this one was 21 square feet. Okay. So once we add this up, 35 plus 21 is going to give me a total area of 56 square feet. Okay. So I'm just going to write the area of figure A is 51 square feet. I'm sorry. Turn it to a 6. There we go. And that is it for number 5. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go on to number 6. And I believe number 6 is our last problem for today. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this so I can move my screen up. So number 6, it has a part A and a part B.
Any teachers who are interested in the Get Fit Together, please report to the medical lab.
Okay, so for number 6, it says Mila and her mom are tiling the playroom floor. Okay, with 2 colors of tile. So this is the playroom floor. We have a dark blue tile and we have a light blue tile. Okay. They have 70 dark blue tiles, okay, and 30 light blue tiles. So I'm going to circle that because these are important numbers. Okay, each tile is 1 square foot. The diagram shows Mila's plan. All right, so it says show how to find the total area they are tiling. So let's figure out this total area starting with Before we do that, I noticed that the dark blue has a length and a width, but the light blue only has a length, and you can it's kind of blocked by my, let's see if I can make it a little, it's kind of blocked by my little screen thing. Let's see if I can shrink it down just a little bit for you to see it. Okay, there it goes. And I'm gonna have to take my circles off and recircle. Alright, there we go. So, it gives me the length of 4 feet, but I don't have a width. But remember, if this side is 8 feet, this side is 8 feet. So now all I have to do is figure out the two areas, and once I do that, then I can go ahead and find out the total, because it says show how to find the total area that they are tiling. So, let's look at the dark blue. So I'm going to put dark for this one. And for the dark one, we have a length of 5 feet times a width of 8 feet. And then this will give me an area of 40 square feet. Alright, so this is the dark blue. Now for the light blue, I'm going to do a green color just so that it'll have a different color. I'm going to put light right here. And for the light one, I have a length of 4 feet and a width of 8 feet, so times 8 feet. And when I multiply 8 times 4, this will give me an area of 32 square feet. Okay, so now I know that for the blue, we have, and I'm gonna write it in red so it'll kind of stand out from this color. For the dark blue, we have 40 square feet. And then for the light blue, we have 32 square feet. All right. So now we need to figure out the total. So to find out the total, we gotta add those two areas together. So I'm gonna label this as the total. And then we're gonna add our two areas. So the first one was 40 square feet for the dark, plus the light, which is 32 square feet. Okay, then once we do that, we're going to add it together. 40 plus 32 is going to give me an answer of 72 square feet. So the total is 72 square feet. And you can write that. It says to show how to find the total. So I would say the total area is 72 square feet. All right. So let's go ahead and go to B. B says, will Mila's plan work with the tile she has? Explain. So let's go back to our story, because they say for the story she has 70 dark blue tiles. Well, according to the floor, Mila needs 40 of those. So that means Mila will definitely have enough dark blue tiles. So I'm going to write that Mila will have enough dark blue tiles because 70 is more than 30. Now let's go to our light blue. So they said she has 30 light blue tiles. Well, she needs 32. So unfortunately, she will not have enough light blue because she's going to be 2 tiles short. So let's put that. Mila will not have enough light blue tiles because 30 is less than 32. All right, and we have explained why she will not have enough and why she will have enough, and that is it for homework. I tried to make it as quick as possible, guys. Don't want to hold you too long, but if you have any questions, please make sure you send them to me in my PBIS app, or you can comment down below in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Our test for lesson 16 is going to be on Thursday, and then we have our mid-unit test, because we're already mid-unit. Mid-unit test is going to be on Monday. Now the thing is, with the mid-unit test, we're going to do a study guide on Friday. They can use that study guide for the test on Monday, but make sure you're studying how to solve the problem. Don't study the answers, because the questions are going to be different. So if you go home and study the answers and go and put those answers, you already done failed the test. You have to study how to solve the problem, not how the answer to the problem. So that is it for today. If you have any questions or comments concerning, you can reach out to me any way through the PBIS, through my email, call the school, or drop a comment down below. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on tomorrow, because we do have another lesson and session. So see you tomorrow. Bye. Have a great day.